Hello once again. European Super Touring Car action for you around where the World Championship has already been, but not on the same weekend. This is after Maggio. This is after what was a very action-packed and eventful weekend in Italy, and we'll find out how much of an atmosphere it's going to be by the end of these races. Alongside me, Adrian Michael Rees is promoted from the pit lane, Michael Swinnerton. Good afternoon.
Hello, I've got to say, your aircon up here is absolutely lovely.
All thanks to Catalonia. Now, Christian Shepherd is not with us due to scheduling conflict, and we'll hope to see him back for the World Championship sometime soon. Now, before we start this, I think we highlighted it at the end of the Maggio weekend, but we'll start it again here just for posterity. Gran Turismo is the championship leader, but as the race goes away, Kubica P2 just left Dalmas in the Peugeot for dead. Dalmas had a very good qualifying session as they head for the national hairpin, and Bianchi already up to third as well, and the Lloyds Ford already up there. Now then, traffic jam already, as to be expected, but we've still got a sort of eclectic blend of former World Super Touring cars. We've got some of these coupe style, like the RCZ there. You'll see the TT further back, which was pretty much dominating things last time by. But a very good start, very action-packed start nonetheless. Bit of panel bashing there as we see some very well advanced privateer Europe car Hondas for a change. Now then, lap one almost complete, but obviously, as per consistency, we're running the chicane, where we might see what we saw in the Worlds. Yes, the curbs are going to take a pounding, the springs are going to take a pounding, or even a shortcutting, as you just saw there with one of the Hyundais. And there's Vettel doing the same thing. Lap one complete, and, well, business as usual, Swinny.
Kubica has just said, see you later to the rest of the field. He's already got a sizable gap on Dalmas here in second place, who's managed to hold a front row spot at the very least. That Peugeot tends to struggle a little bit, we've noticed. I think the smaller engine is definitely starting to hurt it a little bit.
Until they put the development in, we'll have to see what improves. Now, Kubica leading does make it look good for him. He's only 1 point behind Grand Tom after Maggiora, but this particular lead he's having now should put him ahead, but race 2 to contend with and the reverse grid. On board, Tassi, Hyundai. Another car that we were expecting more of. Well, we were expecting it in the world, but they're using this series as a test bed in amongst the sort of cocktail of cars.
Yeah, I think Hyundai's thought process here was utilise the three-door coupe element and get themselves a rear-wheel drive car in the grid instead of using something like the Elantra or the i30N. They wanted the potential advantage with having a rear drive car, so they've built these coupes.
Sort of looking good. 6th, we got Liuzzi, the teammate, in 8th. Sandwich and Winkelhock. P7, good luck for that particular car, having had a bad start. There's Rory McNish, P9. We're expecting a lot more from these. I think this has been the round then. It must have been, once you're normally in the pits, the atmosphere in the Audi garage must have been a bit of annoyance, because given the balance and given their form book, they've been pegged back.
Yeah, they've the last 2 weekends have been Audi shutouts, as we've seen. So I think it's a little bit of the governing body have said, would you mind putting some ballast weight on? And when we say, would you mind, you're going to. And then I think a few of the other teams have actually caught up regarding car setups. So it's column A, column B on that front. But they've still got speed. They still could push their way to the front. It just depends on the track. I'm not personally expecting much around here, given from everything we've seen. Way too wide into the chicane. From everything we've seen at this track, it does definitely favour the rear-wheel drive cars, which those Audis are not. So we'll see what they can make of things.
Yurtu's nearly going to fall back to 9th there with McNish. But here's Bianchi.
Yep,
with his
Bianchi going for
compatriot.
second, got it inside line. He's made that look easy.
And a bit more subdued compared to other French driver on French driver in French car contact lately. Not to put a finer point on it, but well behaved among the pair of them. But Kubica still flying away, whilst Mauro Heidfeld in his final BMW contracted year in a good, well, 10th isn't in one single race a good position, but if he manages to stay there, we know what happens. He's going to get P1 and start race 2 from the front. So making it look good by trying to fight with McNish there, and it's your boy Ingram in 11th there, Swinny.
Yep, he's making that Volkswagen work very well. Meanwhile, here goes Heidfeld on McNish for 9th place. Job done, makes that look nice and easy. This is really the sector 3 here is really where the rear-wheel drives come into their own, because they can just dart through these quick change corners where you need the car to rotate through the center of the corner really quickly. And this M2 is just very, very good at doing that.
That compromise of putting enough suspension to manage the final curbs as well might be playing a factor in that, especially if the front wheel drives can't handle the rest of the sector. Now then.
Well, we've got Hyundai's attacking 2 different cars here. Tassi's having a go at Barbosa. Meanwhile, Liozzi was sniffing at Winkelhock, but Winkelhock's managed to get away slightly.
In fairness, this is a better look for Peugeot than it was at Dragon Trail, and to a degree Mazio as well.
Especially for Pedro Barbosa, considering Dragon Trail, his results were 19th and 20th.
Yep.
So this is a huge leap forwards for him.
Down the inside, we saw this with the Worlds. They were cutting lumps out of that hairpin.
Slight shove, he's on the outside. Barbosa's going to have the optimum line here. Is he going to clear the door? He's going to, yep. So, A for effort, Tassi, but not quite this time.
We're seeing glimpses of the action further back. There's Capelli. Ingram has fallen back. We've missed that, but
I wonder what happened there. Meanwhile, here's the Works Volkswagens doing absolutely abysmally.
Wow.
They've been chasing the setup on that car the entire season so far. They still haven't got it right yet. They're making improvements. They keep telling me they're making improvements. They're confident on it, but we've yet to see it in race results.
And he just managed to pass Esteban Ordonez, the YouTuber, and that's Vodafone RCZ's plumb last, because Shiz Gouvan, with what is no doubt going to be some level of intermittency with either power or cornering.
Yeah, given how far back he is already, I would wager something has gone slightly wrong with the car there.
Shane Radicic struggling once again with front wheel drive, but there's
Vettel with a dive and a bit of a rallycross line.
Almost did the rallycross layout that he was that far in.
Yeah, complete with Joker lap.
No Joker laps in touring cars, would that it were. But Eddie Carroll, 14th, closing in on Ingram, whilst Nilsson in the other Volkswagen. There's parallels there. Those Scirocco's are doing what the Golfs are doing in the Worlds. I mean, these are the cars that did well last year in the Worlds. Handed down to the European team, still as a works effort. Tassi down the inside of Percy, which, I mean, hats off to this. This car should be 10th, but it's just flying. This is the fast. This is brilliant. I mean, we saw it go higher up, but
yeah,
get what you like.
These are brand new Ford Focuses that have been built for this team as well, so they're definitely getting the most out of the newness of the car before any of the parts start wearing out.
Bish back up to 9th. Mauer Helfer down to 10th. Capelli closing in.
Are we going to go 3 wide into the hairpin? Not quite.
Nope.
But Winkelhock is now being the cork in the bottle slightly here.
It's not a 3 wide, it's a 3 shortcut. Going home in 12th. starting to close in as the halfway point begins to. Okay, maybe
That was a
Where you going? Where you going?
dive.
That was
The
a dive,
extra
and
braking power on the Audi
Capelli
just seeing him through.
being very gentlemanly there. You know, have the space. Here, have 5 cars lengths.
It's okay, I don't want this track anyways.
Barbosa 7th. Winkelhock with McNish now up to 8th.
Winkelhock, I fear, is slowly going to start moving down the order now as that Honda just can't quite keep up.
Evidence with Heidfeld starting to gain as well. And we're seeing the Gronholm TT ahead of, well, closing it up. Okay, maybe
That
not.
was almost disaster. He clipped the grass going on the way into the corner there that very nearly just sent him round in, and possibly into the barrier. He did a very good job of gathering it all up before attacking the corner.
See how much grip is trying to get with the rear camber on the front wheel drive version of the TT. Wobble on right there.
Yeah. The car is not happy about changing directions going from left to right so quickly.
50% of the race left to go. Kubica's the lead. We've got Tassi with the fastest lap. And I think with the tyres starting to wear out, unless of course someone has been kind of holding back this whole time, perhaps one of the midfielders, no doubt. Bianchi up to 2nd. We've got Tassi gaining on Dalmas now.
Now, do my eyes deceive me, or is this trio of cars catching Kubica ever so slightly? Has Kubica burnt his stuff out, so to speak? Or is he just managing the gap, do you think?
Managing the tyres, we've seen it before. We didn't expect it to happen with a different tyre specification in a separate championship, but the pattern of the World Touring Car tyre wear, or the sort of behaviour on those tyres, seems to be replicated very much in evidence here. So Kubica starting to fade. Bit of dust kicked up on the inside of the first of the second of the infield hairpins, mind you.
Yeah, Bianchi definitely gets a little bit closer every braking zone, but this BMW is just too good at accelerating out of slow speed corners for Bianchi to really make a difference about it. But that Renault has got one of the highest top end speeds in a straight line, so we'll see if he can make something down the straight here.
Consistent 19s from Bianchi. Tassi, we've seen consistent 19s as well, but a brief glimpse of improvement 2 laps ago, a lap before that. Kubica looks to be, yeah, the evidence is there now. The gap is closer, but Percy is starting to fall back into the midst of Barbosa and Liuzzi. McNish 8th. Now halfway back up to 9th.
And here's Gronholm out of nowhere.
Now, call me a cynic. Gentleman's agreement for P10 perhaps between Audi and BMW.
Oh, I don't think so. Bitter
Well,
German rivals. I don't know. That's going to be an every man for himself situation.
Especially as Heidfeld now just took ahead of McNish on the exit of that tight hairpin, the tightest hairpin on the circuit. Ingram on board. Winkelhock in front, Carroll behind.
Yeah, Winkelhock has really fallen down the order here.
Whoa! Oh, I mean, it didn't hear a nudge.
That was a I got caught out under braking manoeuvre, that was.
And I'm not seeing any damage in evidence there either.
No, just a grazing, glancing hit. But Winkelhock has really slipped down the order, considering he was comfortably in the top 10, and now here he is, you know, potentially losing out on even points-paying positions, given how Carroll and Vettel and Nilsson and Morris are not that far behind.
Bit of a wake-up call for the Scirocco's as they tried to tackle Walter Vettel through the national hairpin. And everyone behind has just sort of bailed out. Radicic once again.
That Honda is not happy. It's not the first time they've had mechanical issues with that car.
But a switch from Super to a front-wheel drive car, that's not going to do well. You'd be surprised if they don't make a decision to put a paid driver in there instead to get the funding in.
He has said he's been learning, like he's definitely learned a lot of lessons every single race he's had so far. So it's definitely just a case of take this year to understand how a front-wheel drive car works.
You kind of know the Europe car team.
Mechanical issues still mess with that, of course.
Yeah, it's really, you kind of know the privateer outfit that Europe car, even if you were a privateer yourself. Are they happy with having a driver that's just happy there to just get the laps?
That's why they hired him. That's why they hired him. Was they understood that, you know, it was going to take him a bit of speed before he got up to speed with the car. A bit of time before he got up to speed with the car, sorry. So they understand the situation. Plus, those Hondas are also ex-World Super Touring cars. So they have setup and development on them and wear and tear on them as well. So that's, you know, there's a lot of things to juggle there for them.
So whilst we're seeing Tassi closing in on the top 3, podium in sight, but these two are still not giving that up. There's an absolute crocodile from Percy on down into that hairpin. And there goes Liuzzi down the inside of Grondholm's gained. But Liuzzi is...
Grondholm, the traffic master, apparently. Look at this!
Enforcing that move by the looks of it. Maro Heidfeld up to 8th. Well, Heidfeld managed to... I mean, there's a few things we've missed here. We might need to look back in the...
Way!
Grondholm
with a big slide!
And took a bite out of the inside curb. Didn't help him for New Holland. And Liuzzi back at the 7th, spreading them out once more.
Evidently, Grondholm hasn't got the memo about this track preferring rear-wheel drive cars, given his performance so far.
I'm surprised that Barbosa didn't gain on him, in fairness. But yeah, on board with Grondholm. Percy still keeping up appearances and doing quite well, but that's an odd line.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think he went a bit overly defensive just in case. Not quite sure how far back Grondholm was. Plus, if Grondholm has pulled off some ridiculous dive bomb moves that we've not seen so far, then Percy might have every right to defend like that.
And every time we go to this crocodile, top 4 threaten to do something else entirely. But it's still Kubica, Bianchi, Dalmas, top 3, with Tassi 4th on board his team at Liuzzi in 7th. Maro Heidfeld might just surprise sneak attack. Don't know, maybe not.
No, it's too far. Will Grondholm have another slide into the chicane? No, he's got it nicely tidy this time.
Off the curb. Now it looks
have some
like
momentum on Percy going into turn 1. Given how Percy had to tap the brakes going through the last corner there.
Grondholm's making a move here, but
yeah, look at that
speed there. But that Ford, you said, is brand new.
Yes.
Okay, so Audi.
There we go.
Found
job done. He had the momentum down the straight, and there was nothing Percy could do about that.
So some late race performance from the TT. Decent haul of points for Grondholm. McNish hasn't locked in 10th yet because Capelli's behind him. Barbosa's in front of him.
I think McNish is faster than Barbosa at the moment, so there's every chance McNish will nick 9th place before this race is out. As we see a Volkswagen getting a bit sideways there. And
in front of, well, Ingram starting to fall into that particular void, charcoal or otherwise, of the other Scirocco's.
He has told me that this Volkswagen, whilst it does behave wonderfully, once it starts burning off its fuel, the back end does start to go a bit light, especially under braking zones. So you do have to be a bit limey, a bit careful going into braking zones where you're like trail braking and going and turning ever so slightly at the same time. That Volkswagen really starts to slide around on you.
Eddie Carroll tried to hold on to the final solitary point for top 15 honours. Last lap to go.
Or maybe not.
We see.
Depends on what they do on the brakes. Morris sticks it in. No, backs out of it.
No. And this has been very close for the last 6 laps. Nothing's really happened to a degree, but the threat is still there. Final sector to go. Gronholm is definitely up to 5th, as we confirmed. Yutzi still
And
7th.
Gronholm has also got the fastest lap of the race. And now that he's broken free of the traffic, look at the tear he's going on. I mean, it's too little too late given it's the last lap, but still, that's making a statement there, considering that's an extra 2 points in the bag for him.
And a statement on ballast as well, that that car could easily have won this race had it not been for the sake of parity, the sake of keeping the crowd entertained. And look, they are here. It's not bad for a secondary tier of the touring cars. As Kubica crosses the line, lights to flag, victory right there. Bianchi with Dalmas in 3rd, Tassi very good in 4th for Hyundai. Gronholm very impressive with 5th as the rest of them come across the line now. And Gronholm with the fastest lap, and I think that might have also been clinched on the final lap as well. I might want to check the boards on that once again in a second. Let me see what's happened there. Nope. Okay, he kind of backed off towards the end, perhaps. Once he realised he was in the bag, he will be starting P10. Now, let's see who will get pole for race 2. And that's going to be
McNish in the Audi.
Well then, we normally prefer second race because of the reverse grid, but that one was very good indeed, Tony.
Absolutely. Not as much dive bombing into the hairpin that we're used to seeing from the World Supers, but you know, they've got a whole second race to make up on that.
We'll make up for that quarter when we have our break here, and see you back for race 2. Good racing, everyone.